going. We're recording, guys. So yeah, let's hear the story how you guys know each other from grade 3 or something.
Clearly, George,
I don't
remember.
Yeah, I don't remember that far back. I remember high school. That's like even that's kind of blurry for me. Like high school's not a time that I remember too much. Like,
George tries to forget that time of his life.
I know, honestly, me too. But I do remember Planet Kids because you have a sister named Georgia, and I remember thinking it was so funny back in the day, like George and Georgia. And that.
Wow, you have a really good memory. Yeah, I know that's been. Yeah, you're right. Because me and Georgia used to go to summer camps all the time together. That's so crazy.
I haven't remember something else too. I think.
What do you mean? Like, is it bad?
I'm pretty sure. Like, I swear, I remember telling you that you moved because you had a house burglar or something.
That is true, actually. Yes, like that's very true. It's actually,
I knew that one. Yeah. I knew that one.
Did it ever come up on the podcast, Rick? I don't think so.
Tell it.
And I'll keep it vague. I don't know what I can and can't say, but yeah, you're right. We were actually, my family was we were looking to move for a while. When in high school, we were just like looking to move to a different area. We kind of stayed in Mississauga, but just looking for something new, I guess. And yeah, there was a robber in my house when I was actually away. So I was in first year at Western. My parents were away for the Labor Day weekend, just coming home, and only my brother, my sister, and my grandmother were home at the time. And it was like an armed robbery, pretty big deal. No one was hurt, thankfully. Like everyone's okay, all that stuff. But yeah, and that obviously expedited us moving to a new area. So it was a pretty crazy experience. I obviously, again, I wasn't there. My brother was the one that kind of went through it all. But shout out to that kid, like. Crazy what happened, but yeah, that's kind of what instigated us moving, and then my parents moved out to like Mineola area.
Yeah, I don't know how I remember that, but
well, yeah, small world,
crazy. But enough about us and all that stuff. Like, how did you end up going from Mississauga down to you're in Texas now?
Yeah, I'm in Texas now. I know. Honestly, I kind of feel like I've lived like 10 different lives. I don't know if you feel like that as well. Like we were I was in London 10 years ago, if you guys remember that at all. Do you remember?
Maybe. I was we were both at the Western, so
yeah, I was at Fanshawe and I was there with Andreas, Kia, all those guys.
Okay.
Kia was there for like 3 smaller.
Yeah. Kia, so Kia actually, so we both know Kia. Actually, Ricky, I know him like a little bit better than I do, but yeah, we're kind of in the same circles now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I honestly, I just moved to Texas like a month ago. So just moved here from Portland, was in Portland for a year. And before that I was in San Francisco, but got married in Napa, I guess almost a year and a half ago. It was like a quick thing. Met my husband through a mutual friend. Actually, we met in Toronto, and then it was like, one and done in 6 months. We basically knew we were gonna get engaged and married.
Wow.
That's what happened.
I love that.
That's wild. Okay, wait. Yeah. So there's a lot there. Hold on. So like,
lot to dissect.
Yeah, Toronto, Portland, San Fran, Portland,
Toronto, London.
Yeah, and then met your soulmate, I guess. Got married, and then moved to Texas. Like, okay, there's a lot here.
Yeah.
So maybe we should like go back a little bit so you can give the listeners some kind of context. So I guess what caused? Okay. What led you to move away from like London or Toronto? Like, or was it, what did you pursue? Was Portland first or?
Okay, how far? Like how far?
We have lots of time. We're at the very beginning, so take as much time as you want. Let's hear the story.
Okay, you know what? I think, because I guess if we'll get into some skincare stuff, I think it will make a little bit more sense if I start from 2010 London years, because I remember you DJing. I can't believe you don't remember when I was there, but I was kind of like lit the whole time, so it's fine.
I do kind of remember. I remember you like it. Yeah, I remember you being there a little bit, but that was also a very crazy time for us. Like those years in London, like I was very grateful for those 4 years. But once it was done, I'm like, I'm good with the city. I don't have to come back for a long time.
Oh yeah, same. I was only there for a year and a half. It was like just a 1.5 year program at Fanshawe, and then I dipped. Ended up like graduating, went to Australia, moved there for a year because I wanted to continue the party, I guess, and like bartend and stuff around. Drank for 365 days straight, came back, felt unhealthy, like so unhealthy. Started my health journey a little bit. I started dating this guy and he was doing fitness competitions at the time. And it was amazing to see his transformation. I was like, I want to do that. So I started doing it, did this whole transformation, and that's kind of where I was like, okay, no more partying for me. I'm just down to be healthy. And then I realized everyone in that industry was doing more drugs than the people in the party industry. So I was like, this is, different. So I actually ended up going back to school for holistic nutrition. And that's when I really started being like so obsessed with nutrition, because during that time I was going to nationals for like bikini competitions or whatever. I don't know if you saw that on my page.
Yeah.
Years and years ago. And I realized like how much like damage I was doing to my body. So I ended up going to nationals, like not dieted completely, because it's just like, okay, I can't do this anymore. I'm like a skeleton. And then, from there, I just ended up, focusing more on my health journey. And, I started realizing what was in the skincare I was using. I ended up making my own skincare. And then that turned into people being like, what do you use for your skin? And I was like, I make my own skincare. And then that turned into me, developing a line. And then, here we are.
So I was reading up, you're an orthomolecular health practitioner.
Yes.
What does that actually mean?
Okay, so ortho.
I've never seen that.
Do you know what ortho means? It's a Greek
Foot.
word.
Yeah, foot. As a Greek
foot?
guy, that one I should know. Foot, ortho. Yeah, orthopedics are foot, right?
Oh.
Orthopedic is like,
no.
but ortho just means like right or correct. And then molecular.
This is embarrassing. I just got that wrong.
That's okay. I mean, but orthopedic is the foot.
Oh,
But,
sorry. Pedic, yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry,
Pedic
I said the wrong
foot.
part. Yeah, pedic is the foot. I am, smart. This is all is embarrassing. Anyways,
That's
sorry,
okay.
continue.
But so ortho just basically means, right or correct. And then molecular is molecules. So it basically means, the right molecules. So it basically works to address deficiencies in the body. And then with, nutrition, lifestyle, supplementation. So that's kind of.
Is that part of the holistic
exactly
kind of part? Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, exactly.
So where did you go to school for that in Toronto, Canada, or the US? Toronto?
Toronto, yeah. The Institute of Holistic Nutrition.
Okay.
And that's just because you saw that like all these people are just like not the people on the health side are taking too many drugs and whatever, or you want to go the complete opposite?
The fitness was definitely way too many drugs. You think you look at people online and like the fitness community, you're like, oh, they're so healthy, and it's like not really.
Yeah.
Magic Mike. That's all I think about whenever I see like a super jacked dude. I'm like, you guys didn't get that reference, eh? No. Okay.
I've never seen Magic Mike. So
I mean, I definitely saw it like 5 years ago, but maybe 10 years ago.
It's okay. Bad joke.
So then you got into this, and like, what was kind of your approach then when you wanted to get into like holistic nutrition and that kind of stuff? Like, was it just to get healthier? Did you have plans to kind of start your own brand, or like what was like the impetus that led you to do this?
Honestly, I was just wanting to learn more, because when I started that whole bodybuilding journey, I realized that like, holy shit, when you actually eat and like, work out in these specific ways, you can really make insane changes with your body. And then I just started seeing all these different changes, and I'm like, okay, there's more that I need to know here, clearly, that I just had no idea about. So I was just super interested in, during the time I was bodybuilding, I lost my period, and I was like, this is weird, because obviously, I mean, I had no body fat, so there was just no period, obviously. But then during that time at holistic nutrition school, I ended up getting it back through just different like supplements and stuff like that. So then I just became obsessed with, hormones and helping other people in the industry figure themselves out.
That's really interesting too. Like, I see a lot more, maybe I'm just more noticing it because of like social media and stuff like that, but I actually like see a few people, or a few more nowadays, moving towards that holistic nutrition. I see more people posting about stuff that relates to like hormones and how food affects your hormone imbalances and all that sort of stuff. Like, is it from when you started to now, do you think it's like growing? It's a lot bigger? Or
yeah, way different. Because I think I went to school back in, I don't know, what was it, 2015. And then from then I noticed a lot more people on social media being like, I went to this school because of you. I went to this school because of you. Because I mean, back in the day too, I mean, it was pretty new. Like, I didn't know anyone who did it other than the coach that kind of was like leading me in the way. And then, I ended up finding all these people end up going after me, because it is kind of like inspiring when it's relatable to everyone, right? We want to know more about our bodies and how we can fuel ourselves better and like change to just be better. So it's not just like a random subject where it's not relatable. We can all relate to nutrition and wanting to be healthier.
So from that school side and the holistic side, from then I guess you transitioned over to more skincare, or do you still
Yeah.
work on holistic, kind of health practitioner side?
So I do both, because obviously growing a skincare brand, you need to put all the money back in the business. So I need to obviously make money on the side. I'm sure you guys still do. You have your job still?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
Or
mean,
we got like
yeah.
2.5 jobs. That's what I
We
say.
actually, yeah, like we have our own, we both come from like family business backgrounds, and we're both very much running that up until recently. And then at the beginning of, 2019, we launched this podcast. And then June 2020, we actually launched an app, like a startup. And we've been doing that we've been funding ourselves for the past 8 months now. And so, yeah, it's, we get where you're coming from. It's, yeah.
Yeah, no, it's definitely necessary too, especially if you like nice things. You can have another source of income, or like at least a few. Yeah, I was looking at your cast app though. It's pretty sweet.
Oh, thank you.
Appreciate it.
Yeah.
We saw you have a lot of questions, that you post a lot of questions on your story. So we'll definitely get you on cast after.
Yeah, like the unpopular opinions, I always ask them on my story sometimes, but some of them I can't even like repost because they're just like, they're bad, right? And I can't like be promoting that, but I feel like your app, you can kind of put more of that stuff out there.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Wait,
what do you mean? Like, what do you mean you can't repost? Like, you don't you post them, but you don't reshare the results and stuff like that, or?
No, more like some questions that, or like some unpopular opinions. They're just like, a little too yikes to be like putting on my on my platform and being like, what do you think about this?
Yeah. Well, that's kind of why we created Cast. I mean, and I think that's actually like part of it is you being an entrepreneur, why actually Caitlin kind of said we should connect, but also because you're posting a lot of stuff around the time we were launching Cast. And Caitlin was actually one of the people. She helped us recruit for our first hire. We had to find a CTO. We're not technical, so we needed somebody to come on board. She helped us with that. And then as we launched the app, she's like, Carolyn's posting this stuff. This is what she does. She'd be a great guest for your podcast, because we were in our office. But to your point, like that's why part of the reason we created, there was kind of two reasons. One is we want to have more people be curious, but also we want to remove the friction that people like. We want to remove the friction that exists for people to share their opinion around unpopular opinions and sensitive topics. It's so hard to today, it's so hard to be honest and so hard to kind of just say what you really feel, because it's so easy to be misconstrued, taken out of context. Or like if you say something, it's not just like, this is my opinion now. It's so much like us versus them. So people are like, they look at it. If you're not with us, that means you're against us. So if you're not on this side and you kind of like this side, you're fully on this side. It makes no sense.
Yeah. No, totally. I totally agree. Yeah. And especially now, like the whole cancel culture thing, it's like, you really have to be careful with what you're saying, because just one wrong thing, you might have even done it 10 years ago, but.
That's what I say all the time. I'm like, there's so many things that were said, in a text message or a group chat 10 years ago. And since then, we've obviously all grown up. We've learned from our mistakes, or maybe we're a completely different person now. But imagine, like I try and run for politics, like a prime minister or something one day. Like I'm F.
Yeah, same.
Like for sure I'm F. I must have said something at some point that is inappropriate or something, and I'm boom, canceled. It's like that was 10 years ago. I was 20 years old.
Yeah, didn't know who I was at that time. Also, it was very different times too.
Yeah, are we judging people on what they did 10 years ago, or are we judging them on the person they are today? So that's the idea. And like today, it's guilty until proven innocent, especially on social media. Like these social media warriors that just go and start canceling everybody.
Yeah.
Well, I think people are also like a little bored at home. There's a lot of time on people's hands that like, you guys are still in lockdown.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fucked. Yeah, I mean, we have a lot going on. We're good.
Yeah.
But we're strongly considering a move to Texas in the very near future.
Yeah, I mean, apparently tons of Canadians are like trying to move out to like Florida and Texas. They're like the two main ones. And honestly, Texas is lit.
Yeah. Whereabouts in Texas are you?
In Dallas.
Oh, okay, cool. I've been to Dallas a couple of times, but I hear Austin's is crazy. We at a certain point where we're gonna have to open up a cast HQ number 2, probably in the States. So Miami to Austin and like LA are probably looking like the favorites, but I can't wait to get the hell out of Ontario. It's crazy here. Like,
yeah, I can't believe what's happened.
It's brutal.
Yeah.
It's been so long now. It's almost like this is kind of the norm.
Yeah.
It's funny when they make a new announcement, I'm like, hey, how is this different than the other one? This is an emergency break. and the other one was a full stop. I'm like, okay, where's the stop sign at now? Are we going through a red, a yellow, a green? What is this? Like,
It literally
It's
makes no sense.
but
they announced today, like I saw like there was posts on like 6 Buzz, and they're basically saying that the second dose is now being sped up because so many people in Canada got it. They're also saying that the lockdown might end earlier, all this stuff. And it's so interesting because you see that and you get so happy, but it's so crazy that like you're getting happy to be let out of like a figurative prison essentially, which is so bizarre because it usually be like, oh great, this is supposed to be 2 weeks and like maybe a few more weeks. And like literally 15 months later, we're still like in the same, it's crazy. It's absolutely fucked.
I can't believe it. Honestly, all my friends and family, like I haven't seen my friends since like last August. That was the last time I was back in Toronto. But I mean, there's no point of me coming back. There's like, they don't want to
No.
travel here until they get their vaccines. And like, it's crazy too, like what people, think of COVID in Texas versus Toronto. It's like so insane. Like people here don't think about COVID. They literally think it never happened. Like that's literally what people like in this part, like where I live, like just no one thinks about it. And then back at home, everyone is just talking about the variants and,
Yeah.
it's a
Well,
difference.
I want to ask you on that kind of topic, because obviously you've seen both sides. I mean, like you're from here, but now you're there. Do you agree? Like, do you think that how Texas is going, like, so let me phrase this properly. Are you more of the side that like the government, like how they are, like let's say in Texas, they're like kind of like, well, you know what, be careful, but do what you want. Like it's your life, be safe, but be like, you shouldn't restrict people, or do you believe the government should do what like they're doing here, something in the middle? Like, what's your view of it?
I mean, honestly, I just think the lockdowns, like the amount of stuff that have happened from these lockdowns, like no one's talking about the suicide numbers. No one's talking about addiction numbers. No one's talking about the kids who are at home and they like don't get their meals from school anymore. No one's talking about all these just
domestic
different things.
abuse.
Yeah, it's insane. So it's like, yes, obviously we should do lockdowns for certain points. Like we should have tried it. And then if it didn't work, open things up. But I mean, I don't agree with what's happening in Ontario right now. I feel terrible for all the people there.
Yeah,
Like
100%.
if you weren't depressed before the pandemic in Ontario, most everyone I know is now. So
For
Yeah.
sure. And the thing is too, is like they're not letting you leave, because if you leave and come back, you got to stay at home for 2 weeks and that hotel, which made no sense. Like people are not following that rule, but no, I agree. And honestly too, like someone like yourself who is in like your kind of livelihood and your what you do revolves around health, like you must have a different view on it too, because like not only obviously the mental health aspects, all that stuff, but even the physical health too. Like it can't be good for your quality of life and like your longevity of your life being locked in like a box. And like Toronto's like built up, not wide. So we're all stuck in the condos, locked in. People can't work out. Gyms are shut down, which makes absolutely no sense. You're telling people like you're trying to be healthy, like you're trying to strengthen your immune system. Being around other people doing that is dangerous. So just stay home and drink beer all day.
I know, like, yeah, be locked in your house, no community. Like people actually die from like a lack of community. It's insane. So it's crazy to see what's happened. And I feel bad for everyone. I'm hoping that this last June something is the last one. I don't think it can keep continuing.
I think we're like in the clear, thank God.
The craziest part is too, it's like they have ads running on the radio and on TV talking about stay home, do your part, this and that, don't see your friends, don't see your loved ones. We're almost at the end. It's like I haven't heard one ad about drink more water and go for more walks.
Yeah.
Maybe cut down the salt and the sugar. Cut out the candy bars and the soda pop.
That's hard.
Like little things. Like just maybe tell people to drink 3 liters of water. Just see the difference that makes. Hey, get 8 hours of sleep, drink 3 liters of water, and go for a daily walk.
Yeah, sleep and walk. Like me and my husband, we both do 10,000 steps per day. That's like our goal. And like we always just do it because you just notice you feel so much better. You don't have any weight issues. I've stayed the exact same weight for like the past 2 years of always just walking 10K. Like this whole pandemic.
And it's not like it's hard to do. Like walking 10K isn't hard to do.
No.
If you're allowed out of your house, it's very easy.
And if you have like kind of okay weather.
Yeah.
Yeah,
you guys obviously
that's one thing. Yeah, that's one thing I'm very jealous of. Like the Texas, like I mean, besides other things that seem sick in Texas, the fact that you can just go for a run or a walk literally any time of year in like a t-shirt and shorts for the most part, sounds so appealing. Like I just like fuck. We're in summer now. It's like oh wow, it's May. It's gonna be fucking winter before we know it. This is terrible.
I know. I haven't experienced a Texas summer here yet though, and apparently insane, like
Yeah.
45 degrees.
I would take that over the snow that we had today on May 28th.
Snow?
It snowed.
Yeah, it snowed today.
Friday, May 28th, it snowed.
Like
Yeah.
it's nice, but it's yeah. Fuck.
Are you
Anyways,
sure you're okay?
no, we're honestly like I'm not even saying this to be like insensitive. I don't know, Ricky, you speak for yourself. I've never been better. I actually like what we're doing right now is keeping us super engaged and excited, and we're like, you know, regarding the app, we're trying to build something that's like hopefully going to shake up social media and allow people to be their honest, authentic selves online and just bring back healthy discourse and community and all these things. So that's keeping us super excited. We get to talk to interesting people on the podcast, so that's great. I would love to be on a vacation somewhere, but traveled enough. So you know, you kind of take things for, like, you realize kind of what you've been able to do in life, and you're like, okay, what's 12 months of sitting still? Like, other people have harder situations and tougher lives, so you know.
Yeah, at least you have like a purpose, you know, you're doing something meaningful, you're excited.
Yeah,
that's the thing. Like, because you think about it, with the pandemic, without the pandemic, the app probably wouldn't have happened. Maybe the podcast wouldn't have done as well as it's been doing. You know, it's like we got to meet some amazing people. We got to sit down with, I don't know, maybe 8 Olympians over the last year, a couple hockey players, a couple of like cool people that we just probably wouldn't have had a chance to sit down with if it wasn't for COVID, which is obviously great. And on the app, because we had all this extra time, because we're not traveling, we're not out partying, we're not out doing anything, we had all this extra time. So like, if it wasn't, like George said, if it wasn't for some of those things, I'd probably be going a little bit nuts. Because the first 2 weeks of COVID, I remember I was in lockdown because I came back from Vegas, and the first 2 weeks, I literally was gonna lose my mind. I'm like, just
Arizona and Vegas. You were like party 10 days of partying and came to lockdown.
And then I came back to lockdown and was like, what am I gonna do? Like, I can't do it. I can't go to the gym. I can't see my friends. Like, I was recently single too. I'm like losing my absolute mind. And it's like, I'm on TikTok all day long. A 30-year-old man just, you know, addicted to TikTok because there's nothing else to do. And then it's like, okay, then
you can't get off of it when you go on there. That's why I barely go on, because it's like you just open it and then you find yourself like, where the fuck did 30 minutes go? And
I get it. Yeah.
It's not good.
Yeah, it's great. That's why once lockdown ended, I was like, okay, I'm done with TikTok. Like, I can go out and see my friends again. Like, I have no need for this app. But no, now I'm slowly getting back on it now. Just gonna try and reach a younger demographic for the app for Cass. So I'm like, you know what, let's get back on TikTok.
Yeah,
that's what the young cool kids are these days.
Yeah, all the 12-year-olds for sure.
Let's switch back. Okay, so we talked about how you actually, no, we didn't really get to the point of how you got from London to Portland to Texas. We got to the part where
San Fran.
Let's go back. So we're in London. Okay, now you came back. You started doing the holistic health.
Yeah, I came back from Australia, and then because I was just going to be healthy. And and then I was living in Toronto for a bit. And then, basically I moved to San Francisco after like knowing my now husband for like 2 months. We decided we wanted to move in together and just make it a fish. And and then we got married. We did this all within a year. We got married. I had my green card. And then, so we moved from San Francisco to Portland right before the lockdown. And then we were basically locked down the whole year in Portland, and it was brutal. Like,
wasn't it crazy? Sorry. Go ahead. I cut you off there. Go ahead.
Oh, he's originally from Portland, so we kind of moved there because it was just like where his family is. It was West Coast still. He works for a startup in Silicon Valley, so it's still like West Coast. Cool. And then we realized like I hated Portland. He didn't like Portland. Like, it's just a very different vibe, and like the lockdown made everything worse. Like, I mean, like, we
wasn't it crazy? Like, wasn't Portland the state that, or the city that had like that like
riots?
150 days of them,
yeah. That crazy.
We were downtown.
So
you guys saw it all.
Oh, like the mayor, where they were lighting his building on fire. We lived in the building right next door, and our building was like on fire. Yeah, like it was brutal. I hated it so much, and like every night, people like throwing grenades, and like it literally did not feel like the United States.
You were like in a war zone.
It was like you couldn't walk outside. Like, my husband's like, you're not walking on it alone. And I'm like, well, how am I going to get my 10K in? But like, also like, and I'm like carrying pepper spray because it's obviously legal in the US, but like you could not walk out alone without your pepper spray or like a knife. I'm like, what is my life?
Crazy. Yeah. But you had the interception, of course.
Yeah.
Had to get the
There was
steps.
like one area that was like kind of safe that I would just always just do laps around it because anywhere else is like super sketch.
Wow, that's insane. What was it like being in lockdown, freshly married?
Honestly, because me and him actually, so like from the first time we met to like, you know, all our dates, we always were in a hotel together. So like we always like just knew how to like, you know, vibe together, sleep together, be like on the road all the time together because he can work online, I work online. So we were just always together. But yeah, you know, being locked down is never fun. But and especially he does calls all day. So I'm like, you're kind of annoying, like being loud. But, you know, you figure it out, right? Could be
I
worse.
get it.
It's kind of like a
What
male
kind of
version of me. So it kind of like it vibes for sure.
Okay.
And then what took you guys? I guess obviously don't blame you. Like getting out of Portland probably made sense for like sanity and health reasons, like all that stuff. But so then what made you guys choose Dallas?
So we honestly being central is super important because he travels a lot for work too. And like anytime you go from west to east, it's honestly like 6 hours and then you always have to stop somewhere in like the US always. So it's a trek. And then if you're doing that like once a week, twice a week, it's just so much. And obviously my whole family's East Coast, his is West Coast. So being central is so nice. Like it's 2.5 hours from Toronto, 3 to Portland when you're in Texas. So it just kind of makes sense for a long term.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And then Texas is just like, it just felt like it was our vibe.
That actually makes a lot of sense. I never thought about the convenience factor of like being central.
Yeah.
That's actually pretty interesting. Yeah.
Texas
even
is only
like-
2 hours from Toronto?
2.5. Yeah.
Really? I didn't
Yeah.
know that. I just thought it was so far.
I didn't know it was that short. I flew there actually once for a Dallas game with our buddy Alexander. I don't remember it being that short, but that's I went
Yeah,
once for work.
nice.
But it's convenient.
it's
You're like close to
central,
the south, like you're close to like Mexico, the Caribbean, everything.
Yeah, it
Pretty
makes
close to
flying
everything.
so much easier. And honestly, after like, because I used to fly a lot before pandemic, and now I just feel like I don't enjoy flying that much anymore.
I'm
Just,
dying
like,
to get on a
it's
plane.
squished.
Yeah.
I might just
I'm
fly to
dying.
Ottawa just to get on a plane.
The whole Ottawa.
Get me on a plane.
Don't go to Ottawa. Ottawa
Don't care.
sucks.
Just
Ottawa
want to get on a
sucks.
plane.
That's so funny. Have you flown?
Anyway.
Well, you've not flown in the pandemic.
No.
No. So yeah,
Like
I have like
nowhere.
a good amount of times. And like now, just like being there with your mask on and you're like squished next to people and they're like everyone's scared. I'm like, oh, this is just like not the vibe anymore.
Yeah.
I
That's why I
left
kind of.
Yeah, we left the province once. Actually, we went on a little ski trip to Mont Tremblant, Quebec, and that's when they had the curfew. And like we didn't really know much about it, so we're driving to Tremblant. We got all our ski shit in the back. We see the sirens go off behind us. This is at like 10 p.m. Right? We're literally 5 minutes from our hotel in Tremblant. The sirens go off. I'm like, shit, what the hell? Was I speeding? Fuck, I don't know. He comes over, French police officer. He goes, hey, license, registration, no problem. I hand it over to him. Do you know there's a curfew? I was like, yeah, isn't it like 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock? He's like, no, it's 9. Oh, shit. My bad. He's like, where are you going? We have a business meeting. And we have like skis, snowboards, everything in the trunk. So we're like, yeah, business meeting. He's like, you doing anything else? I'm like, well, yeah, since we're here for a business meeting, we might as well ski. And I got lucky that we booked like a work colleague of mine's his kind of Airbnb or whatever. So I had the reservation under his name and everything. So we got super lucky. They let us off. And I was like, holy shit, like this is, you literally feel like you're in a different world.
It's like a communist. You feel like you're like under communist rule. Like they're like police out at night. It's crazy.
Yeah. Can you believe this is real life right now? Like I saw a meme and it was like, you're at a family get together smoking weed and the family get together is the illegal thing.
Yeah.
Literally real life right now.
No, I saw another one where it's even like a dude in an alley with like pulls out his jacket. It's like little scissors and like clips because like haircuts are still illegal in Ontario.
I've
So
been
it's
full
like-
transparency. They can give me a ticket. I've been getting haircuts like, I have not stopped getting haircuts. There's no way.
Yeah, I got my first haircut the other day. I told them. I was like, I need
Like
it.
first
So,
haircut in a year.
I got my first haircut 2 weeks ago, and that was my first haircut since October. I've been cutting my own hair with beard trimmers.
It looked bad. It looked real
Yeah.
bad. You
I
look
wear,
real
I
good
basically
looking.
wear a
It
hat
looked terrible.
24/7.
So what have you learned during COVID at least? Just one thing that it's taught
Oh,
you.
good question. Good question.
Oh, great question. Yeah.
I
I have a lot of stupid answers.
I got a stupid answer for Ricky. He learned how to make TikToks.
I learned how to make TikToks. I learned that I could hit a tennis ball over my house, run through the garage, like through the house, and catch it on the other side. That was impressive. That was a
Right on.
full day. That was a full day. That was a good one. That
What
was a
have
busy day for me.
I've learned the one thing I've learned, like the most important thing I've learned, and I learned it pretty early on, is that I need very little to be happy in life. And I actually really realized, like, when the first lockdown happened, it took me like, I was happy. I was like, because my family's in the commercial cleaning business, so we clean offices. So like people were in the office, so it kind of slowed down. So like I was like, oh, this is great. I'm not gonna get calls. I can just do what I love, sit at home and read. And I was like, this is terrific. I don't ever get to do this. So it was fun at first, but then I was like, okay, well, like, fuck, this lockdown's going on more. Like, there's only so much reading I can do. I kind of miss my friends. But then I started to, like, I moved to a new place about a year before this all happened. And like, it made me start to appreciate my place. Then I started to look around and like all this stuff I have. And I was like, I don't know, I'm very fortunate, but I was like, do I need all this shit? Like, I'm like, I've never realized how many clothes I have 3 pairs of 1 pair of shoe. I'm like, why do I have this? And I actually purged my condo. Like, I got rid of stuff. I donated stuff. I don't know, I just felt like I've realized that I can just be like happy with like whatever, very little. And like my nice material things that I have, I appreciate them a lot more. So anyways, that's what I learned. That's my diary. I realized how good life is, and just don't take things for granted because you never know when they'll be gone.
Yeah, no, for sure. I love purging my closet. That's like I do it probably every month.
What about you?
It feels very refreshing. Sorry.
No, I was just gonna say, what'd you learn? What was the biggest thing you learned during COVID?
Yeah, probably just like what's actually important, like I think before pandemic, there was like a lot of things that we are just kind of going through life with and not really thinking about. And I think, even this past year of all the, things that happen in the world, I think a lot of us are waking up to like, all the shit that's wrong in the world or like what's actually important. So I think it's kind of like it was a big awakening for a lot of people and just realizing what's important. And then, patience too. I probably have a lot more patience after this year.
It's funny too. Like, and I hope, I don't know. Like, I think I see most of my friends, like I see Ricky all the time, our other best friends, another co-founder of ours, and like obviously family. But like, I really hope that coming out of this, I know a lot of people are going through like tough times. A lot of people have dealt with like the mental issues, whatever it is, we've heard about it all. I hope that a lot of people have also realized that, like, how happy you can be, like, when the party kind of stops, like, not like your life doesn't have to be consumed with going down to King Street and going to bars and just travel all the time. Like, those are great and everyone loves them. But hopefully a lot more people just say, you know what, like, don't take things for granted. Like, don't take life, don't take, people you're surrounded with for granted, because you never know when it can all just like, when it can stop. And I don't know, it seems like people are like kind of friendlier and more like taking things for granted and trying to like have these little micro interactions and all that. So anyways, yeah, I think hopefully things get a little bit better coming out of this now.
Yeah, I mean, that's nice. So I feel like in Portland, people are like, it's a very different vibe in Portland to Texas. Like Texas here, everyone is just so overly nice. It's like different in Portland. Everyone, had their masks on, walking outside everywhere. I don't know if that people are doing that in Toronto too. Like, do you walk outside with a mask on, or is
some people do? It's like a 50-50.
Yeah, in Portland, like everyone was masked up outside. And then Texas here, obviously no one like does that, but everyone's like really nice and smiley here. Everyone wants to help you. Like, oh, someone's knocking on my door right now. I feel like it might be. Hold on, it might be.
You could answer, yeah.
Hold on.
Go. The Rick, I don't know if you saw the meeting shows at the top. It says remaining meeting time on this one. Usually just like prompts and goes, and it says like it's been upgraded or something, but I don't know.
Okay.
The worst case.
Not a barbecue. My husband just ordered a bunch of like rogue stuff because we're doing like obviously a home gym, because home gyms are important.
Of course, 100%. While you stepped away for a second, we just noticed that the time on this is running out. Rick, should we spin up another meeting in case? Like,
George, you're the tech guy on this.
You sent the invite. I don't know.
Okay, well, let's keep going. Let's see what happens.
We'll see what happens.
Yeah, see what happens. Sometimes it just extends, I think.
Yeah,
that's what we thought. Usually it does, but I didn't notice it.
Yeah, we used to have a manager. We just kind of, unfortunately, we're managerless currently. So this is our first time doing this in a while ourselves. So, okay, so we've been all over the place with this too. I love it. Well, Caroline, so let's talk about your Look Organics cosmetic line, or not cosmetic, skincare, beauty line. How did, I guess we know how it started. You said you just kind of wanted to create your own stuff. but tell us like kind of the entrepreneur side of it, like from actually making it to producing it on a mass scale and all that stuff.
Yeah, definitely a journey. I think when you first start out, you think it's going to be like an easy, process, and definitely not. Having to find a chemist that will do like low MOQs is really hard. So I ended up finding a friend of a friend who works at a chemist lab to originally first start it and like, do some stuff on the side that I guess like I don't even know if it was like
Yeah, I get it.
but
He did his
like
thing.
for haircuts,
He did his
it was like
thing.
something
Yeah.
like that. And then eventually you start going and you can do like 5,000 per SKU, and then like you can actually get like legit stuff. So that's when you can get certified by like USDA certified organic and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, definitely a process. And I'm happy to be here now because I'm definitely like, it looks all easy and stuff on social media, but it's like, damn, when I first produced like the first stuff, like I still remember it was in August, humidity, Toronto, whatever, putting all the labels on, it gets arrived at our warehouse. We're about to launch the next week and I go to look at them and all of the labels were peeling off, like all of them. They looked like absolutely terrible. Like I'm like, there's no way that I can sell these because this is so embarrassing. I spent like thousands and thousands of dollars on all of this stuff. So ended up loading my Jeep and bringing it all home to my parents' house. We all like took off every single label of thousands of bottles and relabeled them myself in my kitchen for that like first launch. But I mean, those like, those stories kind of just make it a lot more fun at the end of the day because you just know that like the struggle and the heart and the hours, like that was 3 days of work to make sure it launched like 1 week later.
Yeah. But that's what you're gonna remember in like 5-10 years. You're gonna be like, holy shit, I remember that time. Like me and the fam all helped out, everyone pitched in, everyone like got together because everyone thinks, again, like you said, everyone thinks it's so easy to start a business. Oh, like you have a couple 100,000 followers on Instagram, this is gonna be a piece of cake. Well, no, it is
No.
not easy. No matter who you are, what you do, starting a business is never easy. And anyone who says it's easy is full of it, probably.
Yeah.
For sure.
And especially when you're your own products too, it's like one thing, if you're like getting something shipped from Alibaba, like that it's one product, you didn't actually make it, whatever. It might be easy if you're just selling that and whatever. But when you actually come up with your own formulations, all this different kind of stuff, there's just a lot of issues that can happen. And like, I feel like I'm always constantly putting out fires, but like, you learn from them. The next one, you're like, hey, we're not going to use that packaging. We're not going to use that specific. Like even right now we're having like an issue that, certain body butters, I guess, like when you use shea butter sometimes, if in transit, it gets heated by something. So if Canada Post, apparently they've been doing this, they're like storing them by heaters and they're heating up the product. And then if it does like dry at room temperature instead of actually like a super cold temperature, there'll be moisture beads in it. So it'll be like a little grainy. It's nothing like it's not wrong with the product, but there's been a few customers being like, why is my, Restore grainy? And I'm like, here's a gift card. And I'm like, this is how you can fix it. The customer service is important, honestly, and you just be straight up. This is what's happening. And if you're honest, people, and like if you're nice about it, people are pretty cool with it. It's just like when I don't know, I've been in customer service, I think my whole life from like, I was bartending. I bartended for like, 7 years. So I think I know like the whole customer service kind of in and out kind of thing. And I know what I expect from people. So then, I even still to this day, I do all my customer service emails and people are always like, Look has the best customer service. And I'm like,
It's me.
It is me. Because I need to know too, like if there are issues, I need to resolve them ASAP, because if someone else is doing it and they don't tell me the issues, then we're going to have problems later when I'm ordering, 20,000 of this, specific something. And I'm like, well, now I'm stuck and I just spent, $60,000 or something. You know what I mean? Like it's not good. So
it's good that you do that though. Actually, we have like a saying, like we say a lot kind of at cast, that like in the early days, you have to do stuff that doesn't scale and you have to do stuff that like takes your time, because anybody, I mean, you can throw money at any problem, you can hire anybody to do anything, but if you're not the one that's investing your time and the nitty gritty and you're the one that they can call and like all of these things, all the minutia, all the annoying shit, like as it scales and expands, you lose sight of all these things and you don't know the pain points. You also seem less accessible. Like when someone can just reach out and contact the owner or the CEO or the founder, whatever it is, they just feel that connection with the brand. It's like, wow, that's so nice. Took time out to come help me. Like such a small thing that goes such a long way.
Totally.
And basically every business is run by their sales and customer service. Like any business, even if you're not really selling anything, you're always selling something.
Totally.
Right. So like that, being able to, and good for you for doing that, because I don't think many people do it these days. Like we try to, but it's something I feel like it's like a lost art. Oh, customer service, I'll get back to that later. It's like, no.
I think it's
anybody that leads us,
you know, and it's like, it kind of gives me like,
We're like, oh, okay, good.
we're good.
I knew it was gonna cut out. I was like, I've never seen that warning before. Usually it just upgrades by itself.
Yeah, but usually it just does it. Maybe Jordan used to actually do it. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe different when you're recording. I don't know.
This is my first time, legit, my first time actually ever running the recording. Usually it's George, and then it was Jordan.
I was lazy. Yeah. Thanks, Rick. I appreciate you, man.
I got you, buddy. Well,
you spoke too
soon.
I'm not getting mad. Yeah, so I'm not getting mad because I can do this also. Like I can't fault Ricky.
Actually, and George lost an episode for all of our listeners.
Yeah, actually, that's interesting. We both messed up recently. I messed up worse. I messed up way worse.
We actually lost an episode for the first time in, I don't know, like 6 months.
120 episodes.
We've lost 2 episodes. We lost Lisa. Remember Lisa?
That was Skype though. Something messed up with Skype. That wasn't like me. I messed this one up. So anyways, long story short, we actually had an episode recorded on Tuesday. It was my girlfriend and one of her good friends. And it was like this whole exciting thing. We actually like kind of grilled Ricky on his dating life because he's like the most eligible bachelor in Toronto. So we were asking him stuff. It was a really fun episode. And when I was editing it after, I don't know, something happened. I was by myself, like editing, ready to upload. And then I noticed that my voice was gone from it. I was like, what the hell happened? And anyways, this whole ordeal, and we lost an episode, which is, I guess,
I hate tech issues. Anything tech, I'm like, ugh. But also, so dating in this pandemic, how's that?
Ricky can talk all about it.
I can talk about it. Dating during the pandemic is definitely interesting and different. There's nothing to do other than just like hang out with someone like one-on-one. It's been interesting because I've met so many amazing people. Like if I don't think it was for the pandemic, I wouldn't have met as amazing people as I did. Because I'd be out and about with the boys at sporting events, doing this, doing that. Since you're not doing a lot of that, I was able to actually meet a lot of really interesting people, and a lot, were great. And you there's a connection, there's a spark. A lot of times there's none, and you're better off as friends, and that's equally as amazing. So I think dating during the pandemic has actually been pretty fun. I can't complain at all. It's without shooting myself in the foot, it's been fun.
Yeah. No, my sister, she's like currently single, and she's like, trying to like see people kind of ish, but she's just like, it sucks, like you meet someone and then you have to go to their house basically on the first date, and Toronto, because it's like cold during the winter, and like, what do?
Yeah.
I got lucky. I actually met like my now girlfriend. We met like in August, right as like things were like kind of open, everyone's open for the summer. And we were talking about this in the last episode. We've been on like officially like going out dates, like 3 in like, since like, it's been what,
almost
9, 10 months? Yeah, almost a year. Yeah. And like 3 or 4. But yeah, honestly, I have no complaints. Like, it's been a lot of fun. So
your wallet's nice and happy.
Yeah, kind of order in a lot. So it's still kind of like, but it mean like, yeah, it's been really, I got really fortunate, really lucky. So
like an expensive date for me now is $50. That's like,
like what do you do?
2 bottles of J-Lore.
J-Lore's good. J-Lore's good.
It's like every girl knows what it is, and it's like just the standard. But yeah, it's been interesting.
Rick's worried about saying too much and ruining his game.
No, it's fine. Back to kind of look, and where'd you come up with the name?
So basically, I wanted my goal was to change the way people look at personal care products in the world. I want people to start looking at the ingredients and like labels, and like actually be like a conscious consumer. I feel like people are so out of touch kind of like, how does this get here? What's in this? What am I ingesting? What am I putting on my skin? So I really wanted to get people to just start looking at what they were using and doing and consuming. So
I love that.
Yeah.
what's the main, I guess, selling feature for someone to buy your product as opposed to whatever the next leading skincare? I don't know anything about skincare, to be honest.
That's okay. Yeah, we're just, raising awareness with our standards. I have like a few bottles here. So
Ooh, let's see them.
yeah, so I designed these bottles in a way to make it like really super simple to read. So you obviously have to have like all like the scientific version stuff on the back, but I put
and these labels look good. These labels look nice.
Thank you. Yeah, once you get to a certain like amount of MOQs, you can get them nice screen printed. They're not like, the peel off and the humidity labels.
Yeah, you didn't order those off Vistaprint or something.
Yeah. So it's like the super easy to read. So you can literally tell exactly what's in here. So like aloe vera, leaf juice, turkey tail mushroom, chaga, all that kind of stuff. So most people they're like, oh yeah, it says with aloe, but it's like, these are the only ingredients in the product and that's it. It's not just like with aloe and then you can have like 40 other chemicals in there. So that's that. Then it's the USDA certified organic. So obviously support organic farming, and then they're vegan, cruelty free, and basically checks all the boxes. So, and then cute packaging, obviously. So this is an airless pump to keep it all nice and,
honestly, really good job with the branding. Like really cool, really minimal,
really
like
clean.
Yeah, it goes. It's very
like gender neutral too. So like even like this is like the black kind of Renew bottle.
So how many lines of product do you have?
So right now we have SKUs, we have 8, and so you heard it here first. Actually, I've been working on this for the
exclusive.
So working on this for the past year, and like it's so hard because with like skincare products and any like thing like that, you have to go through a lot of Health Canada stuff, anything like that, like to get just different NPNs. So we're coming out with ingestibles. So obviously my thing is like supplementation and like, healing people through nutrition deficiencies. So it's like, yeah, skincare is helpful, but like, I know that like when people are like, it's not working for me, it's like, like I want to tell you that you need to take like magnesium and this or that. And
change
so
your diet.
With like everything that I basically think people should have for like their base. So yeah, that's launching.
That's really interesting.
Yeah.
So tell us more about that. Is it just gonna be one pill or?
No, so there's gonna be like a few. So my first one, it's actually magnesium and L-theanine. That works for, magnesium glycinate is the one that I always recommend, and that's basically for like 350 different bodily functions to help you with like reduce calmness. Make you more calm, reduce anxiety, and then also just like muscle tissue, all that kind of function. And with the L-theanine, it also just helps with your mental state. We're coming out with vegan protein powder as well, but I also focus on digestive health. So we're actually adding like different digestive support in there as well with like L-glutamine and digestive enzymes. And there's going to be no artificial flavors or anything in that, as well as like natural flavors don't really mean natural. It's actually just kind of like a blanket statement. No one really knows what's in natural flavors. So it's just sweetened with organic vanilla bean powder. So it's like super clean, just super, because that's what I always look for. And it's really hard to find, a protein powder that you're just like really good, like feel good about taking. And, like when you see a supplement that's like, magnesium, and then it says like other ingredients, and there's like stearic acid and a bunch of different stuff. And they're like, oh, but it's not harmful. So like the ones that I'm launching, they're not going to have any of that stuff, but, it's just organic, like a vegetable tablet or whatever. But when people say it's like, yeah, it's like, the dosage, whatever, like toxins in the dosage, like it's fine. It's like, well, do you know how many capsules people are taking per day? And if you take those every day for, 2 years, like how much are you ingesting? You know what I mean? No one knows how much you are taking daily. So I think it's important not to have all those different additives if you can.
So when you were talking about that, include information. There's a wine company in I don't know if it's in Canada and the States too, but they said like their big thing is zero grams of sugar.
Dry farm wine.
Like, well, it's called no, there's one called Bart, maybe. That ring a bell for anybody here?
Bart?
I don't know. Well, some listener will know which one I'm talking about. They have red, white, and a rosé, and their big thing is like it's 0 grams of sugar, 0 grams of sugar. So I went in there, and I was like, I need the 0 gram of sugar wine. That's what my friend wanted to drink one day, so that's what I was buying. And the lady at the LCBO was like, well, it's not actually 0 grams of sugar. She's like, it's just 0 grams of zero added sugar. And I was like, it says on the bottle in like clear, like 0 grams of sugar. And he's like, it's made from grapes. All grapes have sugar. So you can't just take out the sugar out of it. And I was
Well,
like,
there's like,
you wouldn't really think about it. You'd be like, oh, the label says 0 grams of sugar. It
Yeah,
must be 0
true.
grams of sugar.
well, I'm okay. So right now I'm actually drinking like a hard kombucha. So it says 0 grams of sugar on it. But obviously to make kombucha, you put sugar in it and then you ferment it. So when you actually do ferment it, you actually like it eats the sugar. Like the bacteria basically eats it. Like that's its food. It's called a SCOBY, symbiotic culture of bacterial yeast. That's kind of like.
I just had a kombucha. I literally had this conversation 5 minutes ago with my girlfriend. I was like, because I really like it lately. I'm trying to like cut back drinking, and like kombucha kind of gives you like I don't know, it gives you a satisfaction when you're drinking. So I got one on the way back from the grocery store. And I was like, we were trying to debate. We're like, okay, so it's cane sugar in it, but like, is cane sugar bad sugar? And we're like Googling this literally like on the way back. But that's good to know. It's really interesting. So
can wine have 0 grams of sugar actually?
I mean, it depends because obviously it's fermented as well. But most of them, there's still a little bit like dry farm wines. It's considered keto wine. It's like one that's in California, and I used to drink it. And also, it's like they're known, I'm pretty sure, for like mycotoxin free like stuff, because apparently a lot of like wines have mold and all that kind of stuff. But I think there's a little bit of sugar in them still. It's like it's not completely sugar free. Pretty sure if I look it up, dry farm wines, they say they're keto, but I'm pretty sure they're like 2 grams of sugar or something like that.
Interesting.
But they're really good.
So these new ingestibles, are you gonna release them under the same line?
Yeah,
So
under
the full like health line, not just kind of skin.
Exactly. So like as I'm just with the business, I just feel like I constantly have new ideas all the time, and I'm like, there's no point of just starting over. It's just like you keep adapting and you switch things to make it work. Like when I first started, it was actually 5 ingredients or less, and then I'm like, okay, this is great, but then now I can't make the skincare I want because I'm really limiting myself to like, this. And then I just was like, let's just change it to minimal ingredients and just like whatever like that. And like, as I keep going, you adapt a little bit, and people are always cool with it. And I just post on the stories, like I ask people, like, do you guys care if there's 10 ingredients? Everyone's like, no, make it a bomb ass product, So people are just, cool with it if you let them know. And obviously if you just do polls and stuff, like, just like ask your customers, they're there for a reason. They want your product, like make your product something they want.
I agree.
This is why we made Cast.
Yeah.
Crowdsourcing, free market research.
So what's the end, like what's the end goal? Do you want to have a full line of every product for everybody?
Yeah. Yeah. Like with the ingestibles too, like, cause I was just thinking, should I do ingestible skincare? And then I'm like, I actually want it to be more about health. It's not just about your skin. Like skin obviously is a part of it, but I think when you promote overall health, your skin is just another benefit to it. When you start seeing like stagnation in the face, it's just kind of a symptom of other stuff that's going on in your body. It's not just skincare,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I get it. Right. They say, like, you remember the commercials when we were kids about the guy with the acne. It's like, some people say I eat too many chocolate bars or whatever. It's like, no, it's like, it's a combined effort. If you have bad sleep, you're probably going to break out. If you eat really bad food, your chance of breaking out. If you don't wash your face, your chance of breaking out. It's not just one thing that's going to turn your skin around. Yeah, anything, right?
Yeah.
I remember commercials as a kid.
I don't remember what she was talking about. I actually don't. I just remember like.
I don't know if I can say it, because if I have to say it with an accent, then you might remember it. And if I say it with an accent, is that like appropriate?
I think it's fine. I don't remember what the one you're talking about. I think I need to hear the accent.
You need to say it with an accent. You can't just say the product.
No, I don't remember what the product was for. I think it was about like bullying or something. It was like some Asian guy, like, some people say I don't wash my face or I eat too many chocolate bars.
I don't remember that. No.
Man,
that's from Nacho Libre.
No.
It's from a movie. That's from a movie.
No, it's
my cousin used to make fun of me, I think, and say that to me, I think. I don't know. Anyways, I wanted to ask, while we're just looking that up, is it common for like skincare brands to also do like ingestible type stuff to kind of take a whole like holistic view of everything and what you put in your body and on your body?
I think some of them are doing it, and I think most of them are doing like just the ingestible skincare. For me, it's like, this is literally what I have gone to school for. Like, not just skincare, is just like how to make people feel better as a whole, like with digestive like issues and all that kind of stuff. So I was like, let's just start here. It doesn't need to be skin specific, because I mean, when you start just healing the body, it just like the skin eventually adjusts with it.
True.
So
Yeah.
I
Okay.
found the
Fair.
commercial. I don't know why I thought it was an Asian guy. It wasn't
That
Asian
was, yeah.
at all.
Is he like Hispanic? Maybe.
Kinda.
I think I.
People think that I eat too many chocolate bars or that I don't wash my face. Yeah, I tried many things. I tried everything, but
I was like, what was acne commercials? Don't you guys remember
I
that?
don't remember that.
No, but I remember somebody making. I remember some of my cousins that used to make fun of me and say like I used to eat too many chocolate bars. Anyways,
That's because you were fat though, not because you had acne.
I still am. Actually, somehow I eat a lot of sugar and candy, and like I don't get like I don't get a lot of like whatever breakout acne.
You
whatever
get
you
good
call it, but
sleep.
yeah, usually
Yeah, what time do you guys go to sleep at?
10, 10 sometimes between 10 and 11 usually.
10:30.
But
Yeah,
I get
10:30,
like
11.
yeah, I used to not set an alarm. Last summer, I tried this thing where I wasn't gonna set an alarm all summer, wake up when the sun came up. I had the best sleeps of my life. Like I would like, even if I slept 6 hours, whatever, the thought of not having an alarm, like to shock you awake, I somehow would wake up the same time regardless. That was the best. Now I'm too scared to do it because I have too many morning meetings, but like,
Yeah, I don't set an alarm, but it feels
That's
good
life.
to be on like Central Time, because when I was on the West Coast, I felt like constantly behind because all my people are in Toronto, like, and just like different things. I'd wake up with all these emails. Now being Central, it's like 1 hour behind, and it just feels so much better. Just not feeling like, because if you wake up at 7, it's already 10.
Yeah.
that is kind of weird. I can't even imagine what that's like.
Yeah, it sucks.
Well, before we start to wrap up, Kevin, what's next? What's the rest of 2021 entail for you?
With business or just
Everything.
Honestly, yeah, business, it's just like a lot of waiting and patience. That's what I have to wait for. Basically, kind of, it sucks, but it's going. And I even like with my business, it's like I wish it could grow faster, but at the same time, I actually had a really great year last year, and compared to a bunch of other people who are literally struggling or got jobless or all that kind of stuff, I'm good. So I'm not complaining about where I'm at. Yeah, it's slower than I'd like, but I mean, it's slow and steady. But yeah, I'm just excited to see like where it's gonna go. I feel like I always come up with new ideas, so I don't really have like a huge 5-year plan. It's more like what's happening in the world, what's the next new best thing, what can I add? That's kind of my plan.
I love it.
Very cool. I do have another question because we do have a couple questions at the end, but I have one that I wrote down at the beginning. What's harder for you, or what is or was harder, training for your fitness competitions or starting your brand?
You know what? Like for fitness competitions, I was so obsessed with it at the time that I was actually like, I never had cheat meals because I didn't want to. I was just obsessed. And like right now, it's not really hard because I'm still obsessed with it. Like it's like my child, that it's just fun doing every day. It's like, it's fun doing the social. It's fun, responding to emails, comments. It's fun, like, hearing feedback. Like when I get reviews, because I go on my website and like every day, there's like a new review, and it's just exciting, right? So I wouldn't say, I mean, obviously there's hard parts in it, but it's nothing that like you can't obviously do. But maybe the business is harder than the fitness competition. Okay,
good to know.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, to me, I think the fitness would be way harder. That's just me. Like I don't have the discipline to do that. I like try to diet. I have a cheat meal every day, so like it's impossible. The business side for me is like I thrive in that. I'm like this, like it's discipline. I get to work, all that stuff. But yeah.
Yeah, I definitely want to go back to it.
I respect people who can do those fitness competitions. My physiotherapist, she was like she was in them for years. And like then she transitioned that actually to become a physiotherapist. So she's so like in tune with the human body, which is super cool. I don't know how she did it. Like so disciplined, so regimented. Like I envy people who can do that. It's like, I think it's such amazing that not only the physical strength and like that to do it, but the mental capability of saying like if I walked out of the grocery store and I say chocolate, I'm like, okay, it's kind of good. But like you just eat the same thing every day on cue, all that stuff. Like it's really,
it's definitely a mental game. And I don't know how people do it like for years and years and years. I did it for 3 years. I'm like, that's enough. Like, I'm good. Time to go on the next
Done.
thing. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
For me, I could do it if like my thing is temptation. If I see food in front of me, I'm just gonna eat it. That's what, like, whatever's put in front of me, I will eat. That's how that's just how I am my whole life of it. So if I get a healthy meal, I can eat the same thing 5 days, 10 days, like I can eat it permanently. You give me salad and chicken or like steak and chicken or whatever,
yeah.
I can eat it every single day. It's just whatever's in front of me. So if there's nothing in front of me today, okay, I gotta go get something in front of me. What am I gonna do? I'm probably gonna do the thing that I can do the quickest, so I can get on with the rest of my day. Oh, okay, well that's fast food, or hey, that's a veal sandwich, or hey, that's a burger, whatever it is. But yeah, that's why I literally.
Rick, I was gonna say, sorry. I remember one time when you say something's in front of you, eat it. I remember we had a pre-drink at my condo once when I was still at King and Bathurst, and you sat on the couch while we all pre-drank, and you ate a whole bag, like a big bag of ketchup chips. Like I thought you were gonna open it. I remember this. I thought he was opening it to like serve it to everybody, and he just sat there for like 20 minutes, and then we went back and I like, some chips. It was gone.
It's like the most Canadian thing ever.
Yeah.
I never used to buy candy because I'm like, candy, like a little bag of candy is like $5-6. I eat that. I can eat 2 bags in a sitting. Like, I'm gonna spend $12 on 2 bags of candy. I'm gonna destroy in 30 minutes. Hell no. Well,
you spend that on 2 shots at the bar. It's the same thing.
Wait, but now I live above a bulk barn.
Oh,
So it's just like on my walk home, I'm like, oh, let me see what's on sale today. Walk out of there $30 later and like 8 different bags of candy. And the best part is I never finish them. So I just keep compiling more bags of candy because I just keep going once a week. And I'm like, I don't know how this happened. And now they're like, you really need your own jars. You're in here all the time. Like, no, please.
Yeah, see, that's why like I don't bring that stuff home because I'm gonna eat it too. Like when we want to eat something, I just like make like a dessert or we like, go out and have dessert. But if it's in the house, you're gonna eat it.
It's gone.
It's gone.
Rick, I don't know how you're so
get rid of the
fit,
junk
man.
food
Like,
in the house.
Rick, I don't know how you're so fit. Like you probably eat more candy more frequently than I do. I eat a lot at once, but like you eat it more regularly.
I work
and
out
like you're
every
jacked.
single day, twice
And
a
I'm
day.
on
That's how I'm more
like,
fit.
I run a lot. Like I mean now quite a bit. And like, yeah, I don't know how you do it, man. Fuck.
Running is hard.
Yeah, I've actually run so my girlfriend and I both run. We both run like I think she's done more. I've done 150 kilometers this month. She's done like 168. I don't know, whatever. But like, yeah, it's I enjoy it. Like I find it like it's good fitness. It gets you outside, and I find it like kind of mental clarity. Like when you run, almost like almost like meditation, sort of, because like just you and your thoughts on the road and stuff. So I like it.
Yeah. I don't
All
think
I hear when
I'm
I run is thump, 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 thump.
I really like it. I dread it when I go. No one likes to run. Like no one likes, oh, I'm so excited to go running. But when you're doing it, especially when it starts, but then you get going, it's nice.
Are you doing like running or jogging or what? Like
both. It varies. It varies. Like I've run like my kind of like, if I train for stuff, it's typically for a half marathon. Me and Ricky actually ran a marathon, like a COVID makeshift marathon last year in November. I want to do one more marathon and like that's it. Like they're so long and like so like I don't know. It's just like feels like arduous or not, whatever the word is. Like it's 4.5
like you start
hours
hallucinating towards the end of it.
It's just crazy.
It's hell.
But it's nice. Between like anywhere from like 5 to like 15 kilometers in that range. In the summer is the best. Like, and I got like I'm a big Nike fan, so I have like all these Nike running shoes. So I feel cool putting them on and running and like you actually
looks
like,
cool.
I do look cool. I look fast.
Look cool.
I'm not fast, but I look fast.
My husband, if you go on the Nike app, you might see him. He was like a Nike pro trainer back in like the day when.
Shut up.
Yeah, you might see him on.
George is gonna add him on Instagram ASAP now.
Oh,
that's so cool. I wish I could be a Nike run trainer. That's like
a 2016 thing or something.
Wow, good for him. Like to do that. I'm not that good of a runner. Like to be a Nike trainer, you got to be like. Yeah, I'm not even close to that. Like I jog. Like, to answer your question, I like jog, and then I'll run. There's days where I'll do like speed runs or interval runs, but for the most part, it's like a decent little jog.
I mean, better than me.
Yeah.
I've given up on running. I'm a walker. Big walk guy.
If
20
we
steps on a Saturday.
if we do get the chance to open up Cast HQ down in Texas, you're gonna have to get your husband to come running. Well, Rick, you'll come up for that too, even though he doesn't
Well, he
run too
doesn't
much.
run. He's like I don't think he wasn't a running person.
Oh, he was like a Nike trainer.
Yeah, I'm
He
about
was a
that.
strength person on
I'm
there.
good.
Okay, so that's more Ricky.
I'm with him on that one.
Yeah. Gotcha.
Yeah, so if you go on the free app, I'm pretty sure, because I get DMs all the time being like, is this Brain? Because I call him Brain as a joke sometimes. Like he always gets emails being like, hello, Brain, but his name's Brian. So like his name is Brain. Like everyone on like my Instagram calls him Brain too. And I always get DMs being like, is this Brain? Is this Brain? I'm like, it's
Come on.
Brain.
You must be so cheesed.
Yeah. Yeah, he loves it now though.
Good.
That's too funny.
Yeah.
This is
Carolyn,
honestly.
we're at the point where we normally start to wrap things up. We want to thank you for coming on. You've been such a pleasure to chat with. And I think a lot of like our listeners and your fans will obviously enjoy hearing your story, hearing you know how you kind of moved around from A to B and how you went from kind of health to skin and back to health and everything. So I think everyone really enjoyed that. But we've got 2 questions we always ask every guest before we wrap up. The first, if there was a movie about your life, who would you want to star as you? Could be anyone from any point in time.
We're just choosing an actress?
Yeah, or an actor, or whoever you want.
I would say Margot Robbie because she's hot.
Good answer.
I mean, she's like who wouldn't want that to be starred as them? You know what I mean?
Heck yeah.
Yeah.
She's great.
Georgie.
Last question. If you could give one piece of advice to your younger self, what would it be?
I would probably say just don't be afraid to ask questions. I think when I was younger, I think I thought I looked stupid asking questions and I wouldn't ask questions. But really, when you ask questions, number one, you become smarter. You actually become more grateful because you understand things, and it kind of makes life more meaningful because you really understand how things work. So I try to question everything. And, when I don't know something, I'm on Google and then I'm switching my browser and I'm going to those like dark web ones and asking questions too, because I need to know like different perspectives, right? So yeah, just don't be afraid to ask questions and don't be afraid to look dumb, because you usually don't look dumb because someone else probably know that too.
That's funny. A lot of people say that. Yeah. You got to ask dumb questions. Like even our startup, we'll talk about technology stuff. And like, I mean, I understand a little bit. Rick will always be like this. I mean, either one of us will ask, but Rick's always like, hey, dumb question here. And he'll ask. And I was like, oh, I was thinking that too. Like,
I have no shame.
It's just crazy, right?
Yeah.
That's what's crazy. When you want to ask, when someone thinks like that's another thing. It's really good advice. Because like usually when you think something's a dumb question, the odds are someone else in the room, if not more than one, are thinking the same thing.
Oh yeah. And even like there's so many things that I'm like, I know I'm good at, I know I'm an expert in, and there's things now where I'm like, I literally have no idea. Like just getting a house, and like there's so many things that I have no idea how to do, and now I'm figuring out how to do them. And like I was on, FaceTime with my dad. He's like, where's your furnace? And I'm like, I never even thought to think of where the furnace in the house is.
It's in that one room in the basement that never gets open.
In Texas. So that's the thing.
So it's near the laundry. It's near the laundry.
Even like all of the, in Toronto, all the vents are in the floor. In Texas, they're all in the ceiling.
Oh, what the heck?
Because everything's in the attic. Yeah, it's like, things.
It's like Florida. Yes.
Yes.
I remember that.
Yeah. Honestly, I love America. It's the best.
It's and I'm like slowly changing my things. I'm still spelling like color and like things like that, but like I spell fiber the American way now. I'm like, transitioning some things, but still keeping the roots.
It's so funny.
Love that.
Whenever I ask a question that I think is dumb, I'll always phrase it like 90% of the time. I phrase it with I'm like, guys, I know what the answer is, but just for the guys in the room who are too scared to ask, what are we talking about again? I literally do it every time.
Yeah, Rick does that often, and it's funny because like a sarcastic, we were like, okay, Rick, we get it. You don't get it. But it's true, most of us though. Anyways, anyways, this was a blast. It was a pleasure catching up. Thanks for joining us. If you're back up in Toronto at some point, we'll do one in studio and talk more about the brand, where it is at that point and all that. But yeah, awesome. Good luck with everything.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Perfect. Caroline, well, I'll say if people want to find out more about you, what you're doing, the brand, everything, where can they go? How can they find you?
They can find me on Instagram, Caroline Tushuk, and then through there, I have Look Organics in my bio.
Perfect.
Awesome.
So guys, if you made it to the end of this episode, we appreciate each and every one of you. Give Caroline a follow your pals. And that is all. Signing off, guys. Cheers.
Yeah.
Caroline, just stay on for 2 seconds. We got to take a picture. We
Okay.
always forget. Okay, so stop recording is...
Oh my